All right. Hey, everybody. Thanks for having me back. Thanks for not taking your nutrition for granted. This is awesome that you want to keep learning more and all your questions because we know nutrition can jeopardize hours and hours and months of training. So let's learn as much as we can. And again, it's so individual. So you're going to have to experiment or reach out for help to expedite the process in just finding guidance on what's right for you because there's just so much to it. So, this video is going to be about race week nutrition. And towards the end, I'm going to talk about day of nutrition and also carbo loading, my favorite topic. So, to start off, looking at here's the scenario, I suppose. Let's say your race is on Saturday morning, and what you want to know is what do I eat Monday through Friday, right? So this is going to be a taper week. You're not going to be expending too much energy. So this isn't a free for all at all. What you really need to work on, and what I hope since the last video I sent, is that you're kind of gearing towards more of a whole food, nutrient dense lifestyle. And so if that's what you've adopted or have already have, then it's just about kind of topping off your stores and increasing your carbohydrates moderately and making sure you're staying well hydrated. So it's continuing to really focus on nutrient dense foods, lots of good quality proteins, fats, colorful vegetables, whole fruits, and just really supporting your body in that way. And then what you're going to have about 3 days prior is to moderately increase your carbohydrate intake. And the types of carbohydrates kind of means everything. So you want good quality carbohydrates that are going to provide a lot more than just the carbohydrate and sugar itself. So you want the colorful ones, you want the squashes and the potatoes and the quinoa and lentils and all these food closest to its natural source. And that's going to provide you and your cells and your muscles and your brain and everything what it needs to perform really well, and especially your digestion, keeping the inflammation low in your digestive tract so you don't have any of the nausea or urgency or sloshing going on come race day because things have been left undigested. So that's kind of the gist of the first 4 days of that week. And then looking at, okay, what do I eat the day before my race, right? Well, there's some guidelines for this as well. You're going to want to do smaller, more frequent meals. You don't want to do something huge, especially for dinner. You don't want to go to bed with a full stomach, especially if your race is early in the morning, which most are. So you need to give your body plenty of time to digest your food because you want it to be fully digested so it's not hanging out in there, disrupting everything. So smaller, more frequent meals. I would say your biggest meal of the day is around lunchtime, and then dinner will be something smaller, something that satiates you for sure, but nothing huge. What else? I have my notes over here, so that's just why I'm looking. I don't want to forget anything. The day before, let's talk about fiber. The day before, and probably maybe 1 to 2 days before your race, I would avoid anything super fibrous. And this is when like the white stuff comes into play and really, has its heyday. So more white breads and white rice instead of the darker rice, the darker breads. I would have less beans and less grains and focus, on your carbo intake to be more of the white rice or the white potatoes and things like that are just quicker to digest. So that's something to keep an eye on. And then also the night before, the day before, just easier to digest proteins. I am a big fan of red meat, and the nutritional content in red meat is just off the charts, but it is a heavier protein and it does take longer to digest because also it's fat content slowing the process down. So this is when you definitely want to turn to the lighter proteins, again, kind of lighter in color as well. So your chicken, tempeh, eggs, fish from a trusted source are all good options. Quicker, I will say, quicker to digest, and yeah, really good quality sources. That'll leave you satiated and your blood sugar balanced, which is what you want for sure. Okay, and then got that. So then to end on carbo loading, everybody wants to know or be granted permission to carbo load. Here's the thing: carbo loading, what it means to a lot of people is a free for all. And let me tell you, my first marathon the night before, I carbo loaded, and it was an awful experience the next day. I had to work the expo for the marathon, and so I didn't eat until 11 p.m. And I was so hungry, and I ordered pizza and breadsticks and a salad, and I ate it all, and woke up 7 a.m. marathon, and my stomach was a wreck. Like it was just starting to digest maybe the breadsticks. Like everything was slowed down, and I felt terrible, and I felt it the whole way, all 26.2 miles. And so the mistakes I made there was, I mean, one, eating too late, two, eating too fast. There's no way I was chewing my food that night. Three, eating just really heavy food. So think about all the dairy in that. Think about the refined carbohydrates. Think about the sugary sauces. It's just kind of this perfect storm of undigestible foods that were sitting in my stomach, left undigested, and causing just havoc the next day for my race, my first marathon. It was awful. I finished, but it was awful. So, so hopefully you could learn from that and not eat too late, not eat a ton of dairy products, not eat a ton of heavy proteins, not eat a ton of gluten. These things are just slow to digest, and they just stick in your stomach. So you want some cooked veggies, you want some lighter proteins, and really, that's it. Not too much fat, not too much fiber. You could do your carbo loading on recovery day on Sunday when your appetite comes back. But I would definitely play it safe the day before, because your store should be topped up by then. You won't need this huge, you'll have the energy, I promise. It's a half marathon or full marathon. You're out there for a few hours. You will have the energy. And then you have also breakfast to think about the next day. So don't go for a free-for-all. I wouldn't do huge bowls of pasta. I wouldn't do huge things of pizza with breadsticks. I wouldn't end your night with a bowl of ice cream or a ton of cookies. So sorry. I'm looking out for your best interest. I want you to enjoy your run and not just fight for the finish or fight for the next porta potty. I mean, carbo loading in kind of the historical terms is just a ton of Gatorade, pizza, bread, cookies, chips. Go to bed, sleep terribly, wake up, and hope you feel good. And that might have worked in the past for you, but things are constantly changing. And as we get older and we go through these different phases in life, you have to readjust for where you're at and really listen to your body. And so you want to go to bed not feeling full, because do you want to wake up feeling heavy and bloated and weighted down, or do you want to wake up feeling light and refreshed and well rested and ready to go? So those are my tips for race week nutrition. Yes.